Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Talking Tridents, a Mariners podcast. Today, we're going to go over a few things. We're going to go over some Jerry Dipoto and Justin Hollander interviews on the offseason. We're going to take a look at some of the power rankings, and more importantly, today, pitchers and catchers have reported. So we're going to go over the invitees as well as some small points about spring training. So let's get into it.
Yep. Football season has ended. Baseball season is officially beginning.
Here we are.
Very exciting time.
So today, pitchers and catchers reported to spring training. Both of us have pulled up the non-roster invitees. We have the 26-man roster basically set, but it's interesting looking at these names that they have invited that have a potential to break camp with the team. So let's just go over and look at some of the really important names on that. Who sticks out to you on that list, Evan?
Yeah, I have it broken down between pitchers and position players. Looks like we have 16 pitchers that were invited, along with 15 position players. For me, I'm more excited about the position players that were invited. We have obviously a really strong core group of young prospects, and our highest ranking prospects are all position players. But also our pitchers that are currently on our 26-man roster are. We already know who the starting rotation is going to be. Same with a lot of the bullpen names. So that's why I'm most excited about the position players. I don't know if you have a group that you're most excited about.
Yeah, well, I'm just more excited to see a lot of these top 100 prospects on this list. Mariners, had a very disappointing offseason, not a lot of signings, and as we've talked about, there's room where these guys could break camp potentially. So. For me, I'm excited about the infielder group that they brought. They're inviting. I see Michael Arroyo, who had a huge monster year last year. I see Colt Emerson, Cole Young, even Ben Williamson was invited, which I think is important. He's projected to start with AAA, but give these guys a shot in spring training. See what they can do against some major league pitching. See what they can do in camp, and give them every opportunity to lose. So. I'm excited about the infielder group the most, but I also see that Lazaro Montez has also been invited. I know in our last episode we mentioned him as a DH type. That's a stretch, but I don't think the Mariners are ruling it out. So I'm excited to see this. I'm excited that spring training is here. All this off-season stuff is over. We finally can look forward to some baseball being played in the near future.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that you mentioned Lazaro Montez. There's a lot of hype around him, and like you said, we kind of mentioned him being maybe a DH or first base type to find a way to fit on to our roster. It sounds like the Mariners are going to give him a chance, see how he can perform. The top guy that I'm most excited to see this spring, there's been a lot of conversation around him recently as well, is Cole Young, just because he's middle infielder who is playing a position of, need for the Mariners, and he's kind of the guys in that group, he's kind of the one that's on the edge of being ready, potentially for MLB. So there's a lot of conversation here that he, may be able to, I don't know about start the season on the roster, but be in that conversation. So I'm excited with what he brings to the table.
That's really cool to see some young names here. We're definitely going to get some content out here soon about the prospects and the hype around the Mariners farm system. We're going to get to that soon, but we just wanted to briefly go over the non-roster invitees. We'll keep a track of spring training as it goes along. We'll keep up with who's been performing well, who has a better chance, and I believe Devin's actually going down there, so we're going to get some live footage of some of the hitting going on, some of the games. It's going to be exciting stuff, so stay tuned for the upcoming weeks of our...
First week of spring training, I will be down there, and we'll try to bring you guys some footage and have some conversations around that. It's going to be a fun time.
I agree. Going back to the offseason, though, we haven't seen the Mariners sign anybody else. I don't think we anticipated that. We knew it was going to be pretty stale the rest of the offseason going into spring training, but there were some big interviews that happened. I know that Dipoto was on an interview, I think a few actually, with a few local stations, and as well as MLB Network, as well as Justin Hollander having a news interviews. So we're going to go over those interviews, look at what they talked about, and see our thoughts on that. So obviously, the question that's on our minds, one of the questions that was asked is, what's next? Is there any
Yeah.
more moves to be made in this offseason?
Well,
What did you hear in those interviews?
yeah, I mean, after the Jorge Polanco signing, we haven't seen anything else happen since then. And when in Jerry's interview, when asked about what if we could see any potential moves left for this offseason, he said he's not ruling it out. Obviously, he said they're open to still doing something if the opportunity presents itself, but that the roster is tentatively set with who we have now. So, and I've heard from a few places that the trade talks involving Luis Castillo are kind of stalled out. I know the Twins were recently uh, a, a potential interested party in those conversations, but again, I think I read that those talks have stalled out. So I think the Mariners are happy with the rotation that they have right now, with keeping those five guys and keeping Castillo. Yeah, I think the Mariners are kind of happy and set with running that five man rotation back again, which you can't be too mad about. It's potentially the best rotation in baseball, but
we'll get to that.
Yeah.
A few of the points that I saw that were pretty important in the interviews that I was reading, especially the one with Justin Hollander. More moves coming. They, and I quote, said, definitely open to more moves, but they never turn off their phone. He followed that up with, although expect the roster to look very similar or even identical to what we see right now in camp the next few weeks. So, there's, like you said, there's that potential. There's an option out there if something opens up. We've talked about the Bregman domino effect. Alonso recently signed back with the Mets, so that could even have some implications on future signings or trades to come from there, as the Mariners are still in a market for a first baseman.
Right.
And then, like you said, the rotation's set. So they're not actively looking to trade any of those five guys, especially Castillo, but they feel good about it. And I kind of pondered how they feel so good about not making any more moves when their numbers at home are just still atrocious on the offensive side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's one thing that they talked about. Are they going to move the batter's eye? How's the team going to be able to play at T-Mobile? And they kind of just brush those questions off. I don't know if that's what you got or not, but that's kind of what I got.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got as well. It's like it seemed like they were throwing a lot of technical jargon around to try to make it sound good or avoid answering some of those questions, rather than just maybe being upfront or sticking to what was previously said about budget issues or stuff like that. But
yeah, that's kind of how I read it too, and listened to the interviews as well. They said we played great at home last year.
Yeah,
and I think the only people that played great at home last year was our five starting pitchers.
Yeah.
The bullpen was mid at best. The offense was atrocious.
Yeah.
There's no reason when you have a pitcher pitching like that at a pitcher's park that you can't win 60+% of your games. There's just no reason.
Yeah.
You got to go out and get guys who can produce. Find a guy who can hit doubles. Bring somebody in. There's just other ways to go about it rather than say, you know what, we played very good at home, because you didn't. You just didn't. So
yeah, you're right. I have mixed feelings about it, with them possibly taking off any more trades off the table, because I do love our rotation, and I think it brings a lot of potential to the club, but I really did want to sign another impact bat. Whether that, most likely that would have been through trade, so.
Yeah. Mariners are a trading team. Trader Jerry's out here. He has, I can't remember what the official tally is for trades since he joined, but it's well into the hundreds.
Yeah. He's been one of the most active GMs since joining the Mariners of any organization. So
I just don't see how they can go out there with these interviews and say that we're good offensively. Our numbers will catch up. We just need more consistency. Yeah, I get that. If every single one of these players plays to their full potential, you have an all-star team. I mean, you're looking at a deep postseason run.
Right.
That has not been the case the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So another question that was asked on the interview was how close were you to making a move that would have been popular with the fans? This offseason, I cannot tell you how much I've heard from other fans as well as friends and just the overall Mariners community about how unhappy they are with the front office and how things are going.
Yeah.
I hear a bunch of people not renewing their season tickets, not planning on going to opening day. Did you even see those text message changes that were going out about the Mariners?
No, I don't think I did.
There was people who had been subscribed to the Mariners have been getting messages sent to them saying, "Here, come see us on opening day." They are begging us as a fan base to buy tickets to opening day.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're having to push out chain messages essentially to get that to happen. So this question really is interesting to me. The response to the question was, we talked a lot over the winter, and there was just nothing that we could do. They said that there was no trades they could do. They wanted to trade from their farm system to get a major league ready bat. We talked about that last episode. That just wasn't how the market was.
Yeah.
They wanted to make real goals in mind. They wanted to make things that would be impactful, and I don't know how they did that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Signing, yeah. Well, like we mentioned in the last video, revisiting the Red Sox Castillo trade, Casas and Yoshida for Castillo. That seems pretty impactful to
makes
me.
You think,
yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing?
I also
you guys are making all this money doing this, and you can't even listen to your fans as at the bare minimum.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, like you said, with the text messages, that shows that they are hearing the fan base. I mean, they're hearing what's being said, obviously, and they're trying to combat that by, pushing out marketing and stuff to get ensure ticket sales are not going to go down. But we'll see what happens on that end. But back with the trade, impactful trade. Also part of that Red Sox option that I read was a potential trade for either Brian Wu or Bryce Miller for Tristan Casas.
Yeah.
So I don't want Bryce Miller, no, but Brian Wu for Tristan Casas. That's
I still say no to that.
I would say probably yes. I'm leaning more towards yes on that. But
Castillo's the only pitcher in our rotation that I'm willing to get rid of at this moment in time. Brian Wu has 6 years of control. He showed true top ace stuff last year in some games. I mean, I don't know if you watched that game against the Yankees where he struck out Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and I can't remember who the third guy was, back to back to back.
Yeah.
Not many people in the MLB can say that they've done that. Not many pitchers can say that.
Yeah, he has a lot of potential, and I like him. I like him a lot, but I was just saying that the opportunity for impactful moves to get a bat were there. Obviously, they wanted to prioritize keeping that rotation intact, which again, I can't blame them, but
you're more in the headspace to take that chance to make your offense better because your pitching is so good and you have that influx. I can respect that, and if I was to look at it under that lens, and I just don't, unfortunately, I want to keep that pitching staff together as much as you can, especially the young core. But even if you were to look at Hancock and be like, hey, take Hancock and a bullpen arm for Casas, that's something I'd be more into. I just think Wu has so much upside that he could be a guy that leaves our clubhouse and he goes out and wins 3 Cy Youngs. I know that's very, very rare, but he's a guy that with his stuff, if he
let's not get too ahead of ourselves here on that one.
Okay, we'll start with one. He could be very well a Cy Young winner in his future, though.
Yeah.
So I see where you're coming from. Mariners definitely needed to do something else. They just did not produce for themselves, for the team, or for the fans.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing as a lifelong delusional Mariners fan. So
I can't be too mad because we have such a great rotation. So it's like, I love to keep all of them, but like you said, I am in that headspace where I'm willing to take a chance on getting rid of at least one of those guys for a bat that could be impactful for our offense. I mean,
there is some value there. I mean, Tristan Casas might not be the top name out there. If we're looking at some other names, I'm definitely considering it more. But
but I'm just saying opportunities were there. They didn't want to take the gamble. They didn't want to take a chance. I can't fully blame them,
one thing I like that you said earlier is you mentioned the word jargon. A lot of mumbo jumbo that they were using. They were saying these things to sound like they knew exactly what was going on, and they're professionals in that field. But for me, that it gets reflected in the new MLB Power Rankings. They said that they improved the team. They said that they did everything they can to acquire what they needed, and MLB Network put them at a lower than last season Power Rankings. They put us at 17. I don't know if you saw that, but they put us at number 17 in the Power Rankings. When last year we were hovering from, I think at one point we were at like 8, all the way down to like 16. Putting yourself down at 17, I mean, 10 teams make it to the postseason every year. That's not even a potential wild card spot. That's eliminated. That's being eliminated before the second to last week in the season.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is a super early power ranking projection, but yeah, this is the first one that came out for this year, and I think it just shows that. Well, so last year, yeah, we were previously ranked 14 on MLB by MLB Network in power rankings. This year, like you said, we're ranked 17 to start out going into spring, which I think it just shows that they're looking at our offense again as something that's not going to come around and be as bounce back or productive as what Jerry and Justin Hollander were saying in those interviews, where they think everyone's going to bounce back. They're saying Solano, bringing back Jorge Polanco, and then adding a platoon bat of Solano is going to be the two key pieces that we need to really turn this offense around. I mean, it just shows that
if that works out, man, we all have to make up with the front office a little bit. If Solano goes up, produces, if Jorge Polanco even does double as good as he did last year, maybe not double, obviously that's not realistic, but you know what I mean. Let's say even a 2-3 WAR season, we have some apologizing to do as a fan base, but how is that going to happen with what we currently have? The last line in this article, putting us at 17th, said, on the other hand, it was talking about Julio's season, all that. The Mariners have a whole bunch of questions right now at the end of the offseason, and it doesn't look like they are going to be answered anytime soon. That's bleak.
Yeah. I mean, that just shows
that as a fan. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that even they don't agree with the Mariners' rationale that those two guys and the moves we made this offseason were going to be any impact to our offense. So
yeah, I really hope that we're proved wrong. I mean, I know you and I have a lot of optimism, but reading these articles like this where their power rankings are so low makes it difficult.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. Let's take a look at this. So we just talked about the amazing rotation we have. We'll get into another article about them in a minute.
Okay.
If let's say we didn't have any of those 5 guys, we still have Marco Gonzalez. Let's say a Wade LeBlanc type guy, a Wade Miley type guy, and 2 just filler stuff. I mean, like, I just pick a name out of a hat and put them in the rotation. What do you think we drop to if we have a rotation that is just completely mediocre? What does that drop us to?
If we went back to our rotation from
I'd say even 2019,
5-6 years ago.
End of Felix era, but before the Kirby, Gilbert, Castillo, all that.
Yusei Kikuchi, Wade Miley.
Exactly.
Marco Gonzalez. Oh boy.
What does that put us to? I have a number in mind.
Our team is straight garbage. Our team is straight garbage. I mean, think about that.
Even with the current hitters we have.
With this current offense, the only Julio. I mean, not even Cal Raleigh is going to save that pitching staff. I mean, that is Julio and Cal could be the only 2 people, and Cal probably wouldn't even be that well regarded around the league because the pitching staff would still be terrible. So it would be just Julio, and that's it.
Yeah, I think that drops us down to like the mid 20s. I mean, I'm talking like 24, 25.
100%. I agree, 100%.
So them being the front office saying, "Oh, we played great at home. We just need to be more consistent and be better at hitting."
No.
It makes you think.
Yeah.
17, I think, is a little low in my opinion. I think we're more of a borderline playoff team, anywhere from 10 to 13, I'd say.
I agree.
17 is a little bit of a slap in the face.
Yeah.
But the only silver lining I have from this article is the only way we can go realistically is up, right? There's no
Well,
way we're going to be worse than 17th in the league. There's no way we're going to be under 500. If that happens,
we
everything went wrong for
we
this
can
season.
get worse. I mean,
It's a possibility, but I don't see it happening. So
no, I don't.
only silver lining is we can go up from here, 17 to 15 to 13. Let's get all the way up as far as we can.
Yeah.
So
Uh, um, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, last year, yeah, we were right on the edge. One game out from the wild card spot,
mhm.
and now we're dropped down to 17. I with not much changes, so they're hoping we're gonna be right back in contention again in that same spot.
I mean, our team really didn't change at all if you think about it.
Yeah.
Donovan
Oh,
Solano, he's
is the
like the big ad, obviously, but
really
we
only
lost.
addition that, yeah, is different
And
from
who
last
did we
year.
lose? We lost Josh Rojas.
That's
Um,
fine.
I think that's really the only starter we lost. Everyone else was expected to be on the team.
Oh, and Justin Turner, but he was
Justin Turner, thank you. Yeah,
halfway
that's
the
what I was
year,
thinking.
but
Yeah, and
I
he's
still
still out
want to
there.
bring
He's
him
still
back.
out there.
I still
Bring
want to
him
bring him
back in.
back.
We just swap out Rojas for Solano. Hey guys, we improved a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
Literally
swapping
one
out
guy
Rojas for
different.
Solano is a big improvement, but
In some, well, less defensive zone, more offensive. Which, hey, at
we
least they
need
took
to.
a priority for
Yeah,
offense in that regard. So,
yeah, I'm looking at it offensively, but yeah, other than that, no, we're still the same. I mean, so yeah. Well, do you
still
want to take a look at?
17's a little low, but yeah,
Yeah, I think 17's a little low as well, but like I said, it just shows that the league is not believing Jerry and Justin's rationale. So,
I think Jerry, Justin, and everyone above them are the only ones that believe in what they have going on. So,
well, yeah, because
prove us wrong.
Jerry and Justin have to, protect the owners and protect
Mhm.
their, that's why they're kind of going back on their words in those interviews instead of just saying it as it is that they didn't want to spend the money and they didn't, you know, they're trying to make excuses, I guess. So.
It's easy to have job security when you're in control of your future employment. So,
Yeah, and they have to make the ownership happy. They're not gonna.
yeah.
So, well, do you want to take a look at some of the teams that are ranked above the Mariners and see if we agree or?
Yeah, they like directly above. I see the Rangers. They're Rangers, Red Sox, and the Mariners.
Yeah,
Let's go over this again. So, yeah, directly above them we see the Rangers. 15 is Red Sox. 14 Royals. Cubs in 13. Um, Guardians and Tigers above that, and going to the number 10 Brewers. I think realistically the Mariners are kind of on par with a lot of those teams. So maybe
yeah,
in regard to this article, a lot of those names can be interchangeable based on performance. I mean, if the Rangers are able to have DeGrom healthy in the lineup or the rotation, he might push their team up a little bit. If the
yeah,
Red Sox are able to have some bounce back seasons from Casas as well as Walker Bueller and Garrett Crochet to continue doing what he's doing, they're going to go up as well. So,
yeah,
um, I I I see the potential for the Mariners to be flip flop with a lot of these teams, and I think 17 again they could have been placed anywhere from 11 to 17. A lot of these teams are interchangeable in my mind.
yeah. I can see that. I think right above us, Rangers. I think we're going to be better than the Rangers.
Yeah,
Red
a lot of
Sox.
projections had Rangers winning the West. I don't know if you've seen that. A lot of
Yeah,
projections had Rangers winning 90 plus games, and the Mariners and Astros being a few behind them. So
yeah. It's tough. I think we're pretty even, but I think Mariners we're gonna be better than the Rangers. Red
I hope
Sox.
so.
I agree. I think Red Sox are going to be better above us. 14 Royals. I think we're better than the Royals. 13. I think we're better than the Cubs. Guardians. I think
The
12.
Cubs did get though they got Paredes, Bellinger.
Yeah,
Sorry, no, they traded. Yeah, they got for Paredes, Bellinger, and Tucker. So
yeah. So yeah, they had some good additions, but
they
I
did what the Mariners should have done: improve their offense.
yeah they did, but they don't have the rotation like we have. So
True,
I
very
think
true.
Guardians. I think Guardians are going to be better than 12.
Yeah, I
I think they're
agree.
going to be pretty good. Tigers. I
They're
think we're
always
better.
that sneaky team. It's crazy.
Yeah,
They win the
they
titles.
are. They were last year, and I think they're going to be again this year. Tigers, I think we're better than the Tigers.
Even
Brewers,
with the Flaherty signing and the Gleyber Torres signing.
yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Brewers, I think that's pretty even with the Mariners.
Yeah,
Astros are ranked ninth on the MLB Power Rankings.
I'm really not surprised.
No,
We've been Mariners fans for a long time, and the Astros have been a nuisance since like what 2014. Really,
yeah,
they've been in the conversation of the playoffs for the last 11 years. So I'm not surprised they're here.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, we know how good they are pretty much every year. So, Diamondbacks, honestly, I think we're gonna be better than the Diamondbacks. I think Diamondbacks are ranked too. I think they're ranked too high on this list.
They made some important moves. They were able to go out and get Corbin Burns, and their
Yeah,
offense is like third best in the league. They just
yeah,
need a solid pitching. If you take the Mariners pitching and the Diamondbacks offense, you have a 100+ wins team right there. Easily.
yeah. They have a great offense. Still one of my saddest players, Ketel Marte,
Yeah,
former
Patel
Mariner.
and Suarez, man.
Revisiting that trade, oh boy.
Yeah, that could have changed the whole trajectory. You never know.
Yeah. But yeah, and then everyone else pretty much ranked above them is
Yeah,
obviously going to
Orioles,
be.
Padres,
Yeah.
Braves, Mets, obviously Yankees, Phillies, and Dodgers. So
Yeah.
yeah, that top eight's pretty. That's
That's
pretty
fair.
set. I mean,
That's
those are all
fair.
teams
Yeah.
that are going to be in the conversation unless there's injuries or underperformance or bearing any crazy changes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think as it sits right now, we're going to be kind of in that same spot we were last year, right on that playoff cusp. Either could go either way. It's a few games going to swing us either inside or sitting on the outside looking in. So,
Yeah, and actually, I think this is a good way to build off of that. But let's do some over unders really quick. We
okay.
say that we're going to be right on that cusp of the 87 plus ish wins, making the wild card. Fighting for our shot.
Yeah.
Um, I think to be better than that, you have to have some pretty special things to happen along the season. With our
Yeah.
offense specifically, pitching is going to be fantastic. Let's do
Yeah.
some over unders. Let's see if we think there's going to be something different. So first
All
one I
right.
got for you.
What do you got for me?
So Cal Raleigh, power hitter, right?
Yeah.
Especially from that left side. Last year he had 34 bombs. They have him projected. This is on BaseballReference.com. They have him projected for 30 bombs this year. What do you think, Devin? Over or under on that?
Over. I think over 30 this season. I think
A
he's
little
going to
bit over, a lot over. What do you think?
I think a little over. I mean, yeah, last year he had 34 homers, so I think that's pretty consistent with gonna be what he's gonna do this year. I'm gonna say he's gonna step. I'm gonna say 35, so a little over,
Okay. Yeah,
little
so
over
about
30.
on par with last year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think if we see him have a 40 home run year, that again adds another win to the season for the Mariners realistically. So
yeah. I
um,
mean, that'd be huge. Yeah, if he
that would be huge.
did. But
Next one I
yeah,
got for you, Victor Robles, stolen bases.
okay,
Last year, we saw him only have 250 at bats, so that's like
yeah,
less than half for most people in the league.
right,
He had 34 stolen bases. Baseball Reference has him projected at 300, 360 plate appearances, so 100 plate appearances more, but only 23 stolen bases.
really.
Where do you think he lands on that? Over or under on that?
Wow, over on that. I mean, last year, yeah, with less plate appearances, he had 34. So
hmm
where do they get off saying that he's gonna have less?
That's what I was thinking too. I
That
mean,
doesn't make sense.
no, with Dan Wilson being our coach now too, he's an aggressive running guy. He's a former
Yeah,
catcher, so he knows the impact a stolen base has on the game.
right.
And with the lack of offense the Mariners have, if you have Robles, Arozarena, and Julio, you have three really fast guys at the top of your lineup. They're going to be moving,
Yeah,
um, and hopefully not at a cost of just a bunch of caught stealings. But I
yeah,
also think that that's going to be an important part of our game this year. So I'm with you on that. I'm with the over on that.
yeah.
This one I'm intrigued for what you have to say.
Okay.
Our starting second baseman Dylan Moore.
Oh
Um,
boy. I don't want to say. I don't
so
want to consider him our starting second baseman yet. That's
that's what it
rough.
says right here. Second baseman and shortstop. Anyway,
Yeah, 'cause everything I've been reading, they're projecting him and saying he's going to be the starting second baseman.
he probably will be. I mean, he probably
I
will
don't
be.
want to.
But
I don't want to accept that yet. I don't want to accept that yet.
so with the signing of Donovan Solano, with Ryan Bliss potentially getting his spot at second base, with even Cole Young being considered for the on the invitees list, I have an
Yeah.
over under for you on at bats. Last
Okay.
year he had 368 at bats. They're projecting him at 437 plate appearances. Sorry,
Really?
we said at bats, so they're projecting him at 372 plate appearances, right on par with last year, and that's including when he covered for JP. That's
Yeah.
including when Jorge Polanco was out injured on his 15-day, and all the other stops. So what's your over under on at bats at 372 for Dylan Moore?
So they're projecting that he's going to be a regular, pretty much everyday guy.
Hmm.
Uh, what I want is under. I don't mind him as a super utility guy. I like that role for him. Um, what I want is under. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm taking the under on that. I think the
Okay.
Mariners are in a spot where Cole Young might be coming up. Ryan Bliss might be giving his shot. Dylan Moore's been on the roster since 2019.
Yeah.
They know what his potential is, and they know what he's able to do. Um, I think he's a, like you said, a super utility guy, late innings, speed, fast runner on base, as well as your occasional pinch hitter for against a lefty late in the game as well. So I'm saying he's going to get as little as 250, and I think
Dang.
that
Okay.
is what they should shoot for because he has a lot of value in a lot of ways. Gold Glove infielder last year. I
Yeah.
think that gives him a little bit more, but I'm taking the under on that.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I'd like to see Cole Young come up and get a lot of playing time, but I don't. I'm not. I don't want to see. I'm not big on Ryan Bliss, or
Yeah,
so.
it's gonna be intriguing, that's for
It's
sure.
kind of tough. Yeah.
This next one, I know what your answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Okay.
We saw Randy Arozarena have a career low year last year.
Oh man. Yeah.
He batted under 220, 20 home runs, 60 RBIs, 20 stolen bases. It was
Right.
his worst year by WAR since the 2020 shortened season. He had a 1.7 WAR last year over his time with the Rays and the Mariners. Previous
Yeah.
years he had a 3.5, a 2.7, a 3.9. This year, he is projected an OPS of 750. To put that in reference, last year his OPS was 733. Sorry, 720 with the Mariners. So
Yeah.
over under on the OPS of 750 for Randy Arozarena.
Over. I think he's gonna be better. I love Randy Rosarena. I think he's gonna have a big year, actually.
I
Um,
don't know if you, when you were a kid playing ball, if you ever went from one team that you've been with for a while and then went to a completely new team because you moved or you joined select ball or maybe left select ball, whatever that might be. Going to a new team is very difficult for a hitter. You know, you're learning
yeah.
a whole different set of expectations. You're learning a whole different set of where you're at in the lineup and all that type of stuff. I think he struggled with that last year.
Yeah. I think so. New setting. I mean, coming here versus playing in Florida is a way different.
Yeah,
Um, weather, atmosphere, this the culture, everything. So I think that played a big part of it as well. Him getting comfortable. Yeah, I just think he wasn't comfortable for
yeah.
when he came over at the deadline. So I think he's gonna have a much bigger year. I like Randy Rosarena a lot actually. So I was hyped when we got him. I'm still hyped that we got him last year and that yeah, he's gonna have a bounce back year. So I think I'm
Yeah,
over. I'm over on him.
I
For
hope so.
sure.
I mean, we need an over from him. You know that we
Yeah.
just talked a little bit about how the Mariners' offense is not consistent, and if he can be another consistent bat in that lineup, that makes the lineup so much deeper. It was kind of disappointing to see him come over, and he just was kind of okay. I mean, you know, he had a
Yeah.
few good games. He made some impacts here and there. His energy is top notch. I mean, him,
Yeah.
Robles, and Julio. I'm excited to see a whole year of them healthy
Oh
and
yeah.
on the team. That's going to be amazing. But I'm taking the over as well. I think is he going to be much over the 750? I hope so. I can see him creeping on 800 to be hovering around 800 for the year. That's where I
Yeah.
really like him to be. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. His
getting on base.
career OPS is
So
782. So
yeah, so he could be right there, and I really
yeah.
hope so that we can see him produce at a clip like that. So
Yeah, for
all
sure.
right, last one I got on the over under, and then um, move on to the next thing. Andres Munoz, I
Okay.
think one of the most underrated closers in the game. We saw him have some injuries last year. He has
Yeah.
horrible home road splits. I don't know if you've seen the numbers. They're not pretty. I mean, he has like a .8 ERA at home and a 4 point something plus away.
Oh yeah.
Um, Last year he had some injured time. 22 saves on the year last year. They
Hmm.
have him projected at 11 saves next year.
What?
I,
Really?
they have him so right here, 2025. They have him
11
at
saves?
11 saves next year, and
How?
that's with him. That's with him throwing 60 innings, and I mean, last year he threw for 60 innings exactly. So
Yeah.
I
Well, they think we're going to be
I
that bad
understand. That's
where
what they're saying,
he's
man.
not going to get any save opportunities, or they think he's going to be that bad where he's going
Maybe
to blow them.
it doesn't say blown saves on here at all for on Baseball Reference, but maybe the reference is saying, hey, Matt Brash is going to be back. He's going to be your closer, or they're going to throw Santos in that role, which I don't think so. So
No, I don't think so.
what's your
Munoz
over
is
under on 11 saves for Andres
over,
Munoz?
over. Come on,
Yeah,
over.
if I was to put $5 on the under, and my win out would be like $5,000 on a parlay on that. If I put a bet for $5, I would win. It would be a huge buy on that. So
Yeah.
I'm also taking the over.
Well, Munoz is a
That's
proven closer already
yeah,
at this point, and they're not gonna chance it with Matt Brash or Santos. I mean, come
I
on.
agree.
So
It kind of baffles me the projection on that. I'm gonna try to find some other projections to
yeah,
review on my own time. But
yeah,
11's abysmal. That's not gonna happen.
that's
He's gonna be
ridiculous.
over on
Yeah,
that. I have him around 30 to 34, 35 at tops. I mean, we're not
yeah.
gonna see a Edwin Diaz 51 season, but
Oh man, I yeah, I see him getting as high as 40 saves on the
yeah,
season.
especially if we're in a lot of the close games like we expect to be with our
Yeah.
current offensive situation. So
Our pitching, like usual, our pitching is going to keep us in the game, and our offense is either going to have to step up or it's going to let us down. So we Munoz is going to get the opportunities, and he's going to be pitching in those close games. So
I hope so.
it could go either way.
So yeah, that's kind of what we wanted to cover this week. We wanted to go over the unfortunate offseason that we had, and realistically, this is what the lineup's going to look like, or realistically, this is what the 26-man roster is going to look like. Was kind of what we went over on our 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Don't expect anything big. The best thing you can do right now for spring training is watch those invitees, see what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. You should be as a Mariners fan. You should be really excited about that. You should be really excited about that farm system and spring training. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity. A lot of Mariners fans. I know we touched on this already, but a lot of Mariners fans are pissed that this offseason everyone's mad. I don't know. I'm still optimistic. I don't like all the hate that Jerry has been getting. Some of it, yes, is justified, but
I think some of it's justified.
yeah,
You got to do a little bit more. You can't lower your salary and expect better things to happen. So
yeah, I get aspects of it, but I think a lot of Mariners fans too are just I don't know being too hard about it. I mean, I'm still excited, and I think as a Mariners fan, you should still be excited too for the season. Yeah, did we not get that huge impact bat or free agent signing that we wanted? No, but I think there's still stuff to be excited about. So
I think if fans are able to hold out for a year where we have this rotation with some young names like Cole Young, Colt Emerson, Montez, and even some younger guys, if we can blend those two and have that roster all cohesive with keeping Cal Raleigh and Julio, that's going to be a special year. That's a year that we are going to be respected. That's a year we're going to see ourselves in the top 8 standings.
Yeah.
For the year at the start of the year. So
think about this real quick. Think about this. The way I look at it too. Remember when we signed Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, Gene Segura, D. Gordon, all these big names. Did we ever make the playoffs? No.
Not once. We had multiple seasons of 85 plus wins and did not make it once. So I think you're saying, we should be excited about building hopefully a long dynasty. I want to see the Mariners build something like the Astros had in the 2010s, or sorry, 2010s.
Yeah.
I'd really like us to see it do that, and so hopefully we're in the very beginning stages of that. And I know you and I are optimistic fans.
Yeah.
We're going to be there at games this year. We're going to be excited when we see something happen. Of course, we're going to be disappointed when things don't.
Yeah. All I'm saying is Mariners have gone after those big free agents before. Everyone's excited. I was excited about it, but did we make the playoffs? No. So I don't know. I'm just saying.
It's a good point, and I think that's a good spot to end on. Thank you guys for watching the Talking Tridents podcast, a Mariners podcast. Leave a comment in the description below, or leave a comment down below if you have any questions or comments or any crazy suggestions for the season, any crazy projections for the season. And we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, let us know if you agree, disagree. Thanks for watching.